the highest paid basketball player ever, right? Currently is Michael Jordan. I think it.
Yeah.
His sale is 5% of what Jordan Brand sells. So if Jordan,
5%.
it's $150 million a year. Sounds great. I don't know if I would turn down that.
All he made was $36 from us at the most. The big homie's getting screwed, and then I go do the same deal as the big homie?
No, you hope to get a deal like Big Homie.
What's up, fam? How y'all doing, man? Welcome back to the Endgame podcast. I'm Rod Brown.
What's goody? I'm Max Maxwell.
Yo, I'm Lynch Hunt today, y'all.
Oh, you're not him today.
I'm still him.
I am him.
Lynch is him, y'all.
I
Y'all
love
better
that. I
know
actually
it.
love
I'm
that,
telling you,
man. I
when
am
you
him.
Google me, then you're going to be like, yo, this dude is him.
So break that down
Yeah.
for the people who don't know what I am him mean. What does that mean?
Yo, it means that, when you look at me, you going to see something that you ain't never saw before. Somebody that does something extraordinary.
One of one?
That's him.
You're one of
And
one?
people who do regular stuff, they're they. Yeah, them.
Him and they.
Yeah. So everybody can't be him. You either gonna have to be him or them. And depending on how hard you go, will depend on which group you go in.
Gotcha.
Either him or them. I ain't never been a they or them. I've always been a him. So I'm gonna keep doing me and not them.
Him.
Yeah, him.
That's
He
him.
is
Yeah,
I,
man.
I am him.
So last week we had an extraordinary pod. We had our brother Adrian Smith.
Man,
so
shout out to Adrian, man.
Thank
shout
you.
out to McDonald's.
Yes, thank
Shout
you
out
for
to
joining
Fries.
us, man. And so it's kind of hard pressed not to even talk about that podcast because we got such an outpouring of love from people that watch the podcast, that support us. So just a quick question. What did you get from the podcast?
Man, I think the number one thing that I got from it was Adrian's mindset at every pivotal point in his journey. Like literally, he had to make decisions left and right on based on who he wanted to be as opposed to who he was used to being. And I think that's a lot of our problems today, where we can't further our careers or further our relationships or further our businesses because we're making decisions based on our past instead of based on where we want to be. So I think people should really try to dive back into that episode and just think about a lot of the personal growth moments he had and the pivotal decisions that he made to allow him to keep going further in the journey. And
Gotcha.
I just think that was a dope part.
Gotcha. One of the things that stood out for me was, and I struggled with this for many, many years, and I got it now because I've seen it work, and that's delayed gratification.
Absolutely.
When he worked for his parents in their restaurants, and then when he finally got his first restaurant, he said he didn't take an income for 6 years. He maintained his $50,000 salary.
Absolutely.
That his parents, that they were paying him. So like right now today, how many people do you guys know that if you went to them and said, here is a McDonald's franchise, but you can't take any money out of it for 6 years, would take that deal?
Oh man, we don't even have to go to McDonald's franchises. You can just go to the job that they're going to take over the one that they really want, right? Then you can go to the actual, how people start saving money after the first 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 checks or something like that, or a little IRA or something like that. People dipping in them joints every week. Yeah, they going in all that, the 401ks, all that. They going in them. Them joints, ain't nothing left after a couple months.
Right. But the other part of that deal is, but if you wait 14 years, so I'm going to give you a restaurant. You can't take any money out of it for 6 years. But if you wait another,
7, 8
years,
yeah,
you'll have 50. How many people would take that deal?
Not many, because it's hard to sacrifice what you have for what you want. And that's just the basic. That's just basic 101.
Right.
It sounds very simple for me to say that, but it's what winners do. Like you're willing to make. I ain't want to push that sled today at the gym. I'm trying to lose this belly by a certain time.
Took my soul.
So I think one of the biggest things for me out of first of all, the whole pod was dope. And I don't know if y'all seen it, but I was like a kid wanting to speak to Adrian.
Yeah.
Because as I dig more into what he does, and I'm just memorized by, he's special because he's in the top 10 owners in the country.
Yeah.
Meaning that he's in the in one of America's top franchises. He's one of the top 10 people.
Yeah, and in one of America's top franchises.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it makes him. So it speaks to his ability to be able to lead and run a business. So what I took from it was like, yo, I gotta get with him and understand some of his systems and process and procedures, and really boil down to like, how can I work? How can I get better at managing people?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and then I'm opening up a restaurant here soon. And just like, should I think about it big and go franchising? Or should I just, or even at the smallest level, I'm just like, yo, I want to run it like a franchise.
I remember you used to have a restaurant, right?
Yeah,
the Jamaican spot?
Yeah, my dad had two. My dad's not that well now, so he can't, operate one every day. But my brother's been keeping that name alive for years. And so, not too far from here.
Got you.
We're gonna open up. I actually go see the building tomorrow.
Yeah, me and one of my boys, we came in there and crushed some jerk chicken one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the thing you got out of it was just becoming, I guess, a better leader. And
yeah, I mean, you don't get to that level without being different at something, and it's probably the things that most people don't want to deal with. Yeah. And so, like, what's hard for us to do is it's easy for us to just hire somebody to be the in between. So just being a better. I learned so much, man. So, and then I just want to hang out with the cat.
Right.
I'm ready to go work at a McDonald's. Right. The ones that he check in on the most right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I know he's my peer. I know I could text him, but I'm just,
let me hang out with you for a day. Let me walk.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Like I'm serious. I'm about to text and be like, yo, I'm gonna hang out with you for a day. Whatever you're doing, I'll hold your bag.
Shadow.
Just because you talk about mirroring early on in episodes, and so I just want to see it. Yeah. It's just good to be the low on a totem pole in the room. It feels good. Yeah,
we had some trolls in the comments.
I don't know if that guy was a troll.
Okay.
So a gentleman had talked about why point out that he was a black operator? And he says it wasn't that. And I know some people just really don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is extraordinary that he's within the top 10, and extraordinary that he can do that as a black man, and even connect to his dad too. His dad was able to do it in such a tough time.
I mean, honestly, we probably gotta get the dad on the joint if he would ever talk to us. We need the dad on there, because it's like to me, it's like Richard Williams. You know what I'm saying? So if we had a chance to talk to him over Serena and them, I'd rather talk to Richard Williams.
And mom too, because mom was in there running. She was in there. It sounds like she was in there.
Oh, hustling.
Here's a text that I got this week from Adrian that I really appreciate. I don't know if you guys got a text from him. He said that my mom and dad watched the pod and they really loved it.
Oh man,
that makes me, you know what I'm saying? That feel good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that was a good thing for that I felt. And so hopefully we keep that going. But there's a lot of reasons as to why it's important. It's and I actually had this conversation with my wife. I said, babe, if I was going to tell you my friend's coming over, he owns 50 McDonald's, tell me what you think he would look like immediately when I say that. She was like, an old white dude. I was like, yeah, that's what we call normal. Right. And then I also was like, I was talking about HBCUs, right? Historically black colleges and universities. Why do you have to say that? Because the other ones, the PWIs, which is like a new term almost now, you don't have to say it. It was known. Right. When I say, hey, my friend's coming over, he goes to Princeton University, what do you think he look like? Or whatever. So I think it's important to point out, because we need to have those conversations. It's normal. It was difficult for him to get there as an entrepreneur, period.
Absolutely.
It was a little bit harder for him to get there as a black man. And so you got to point that out, because it's not normal. How many Marvel movies are there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Marvel movies, right?
Movies. Yeah.
How many Marvel movies with a black superhero?
Right. It's
one.
Yeah. Right. We got it's not even the playfield's not
2. EA says 2.
Yeah.
That ain't out yet.
It's not out yet. Number one.
Bro?
Number 2 is
I felt like
DC.
you just wanted to say something.
It's DC, man. Know your comics, man.
Yeah.
EA.
Oh, I feel like. Yeah, be quiet, bro. He just wanted to say something. We all know you back there, bro. Chill out.
I think one of the major things that that a lot of people who are in the comments are missing is the context, because we're just putting a soundbite or a snippet, or micro on Instagram or on the
you
platform.
love that part, don't you?
No, well, I just want people to
go watch
the episode, like
because there's more to the conversation,
right? I just wish people would maybe try to understand the context first before they jump into trying to defend the point or go against it.
So, question for me, like I'll let's look at something, right? Because I think this makes a lot of sense. So if I'm gonna do a dope podcast like that, right? We put that out. So I got, one of my videos has 76,000, 57,000, 68,000 plays. Let me look. 1,800 likes, 1,400 likes, 3,000 likes, 3,000 likes, 3,000 likes. The video, I just want to put this in context. The video on YouTube has,
it might have like 3,000 views. Yeah.
So out of all those people that watched it,
right,
it was a couple 100,000.
Yeah.
The short clips.
Yeah.
The tens of thousands of people that liked it.
Right.
How many people didn't go back and watch the video?
Right.
And actually watch it. And
it's almost everybody.
and it shows you, this percentage shows you how many people will take the information that's given out there that's free, that could better you. They're just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Like the clip was dope, but I don't need to check out the whole thing.
I think it's a lot of people they know that to get more information, they have to do a little bit more. And some people aren't willing to do a little bit more, but that's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people.
Yeah.
Successful
people that are just happier than others.
Well, I'm telling you that successful people and unsuccessful people, they both want the same thing. Everybody has the same goals. And guess what? Everybody does not like to do the same thing, but successful people are still willing to do the things that unsuccessful people aren't. So those people click to the next step, and they know that it's longer form content. So you might have to sit there for a longer period of time. So you got instant gratification versus delayed gratification.
It's like Cliff Notes versus reading
the book. Yes. Or at least a chapter of the book. And you know what I mean? It's simple, but simple ain't always easy. So, people get what they get, and, there's a return on that. And then you get what you give.
Is it important to do you guys feel like, because say we went back and did that whole podcast, right? And we never said anything about Adrian being a black man. Is it important to point out the fact that he's a black man that owns 50 restaurants?
100%. Absolutely. 100%.
So because I wonder why everybody doesn't, why isn't that obvious to
I think,
go ahead.
I think one, I think one is ignorance by just not knowing. And then one is ignorance because you want to be. And I think that's the main thing. You either got a choice. Either you really, really don't know, or you don't know because you don't want to.
Right.
Yeah. So you said something powerful earlier, man. And I think you talked about like how you want to inform people that look like you. Or something to that. I don't want to mess that up or whatever. But I personally, I'm trying to educate, motivate, and empower people, right? And it's important to know where people start, where they come from, right? Who they are, and what they started with, and how that may have been unfair or how may have been hard. Because once we tell this story, then it gives hope to somebody who may be in a better situation than he started. And there are some people, like the guy who made the comment, actually could start in a better situation than him and still do what he did. But he couldn't see the forest for the trees because the word black or the color black or because what we said. You know what I'm saying?
He got derailed with the word black.
And the fact that we used it in context with.
So what do you say all the time about missing the message because of
the messenger? He missed the message because of the messenger, and because the message was black and it was from a black messenger, it missed the white guy.
And I've just been in my head about making sure that we can impact people that look like us, because most of the time it's just a knowledge gap, right? It's just information that's missing that all they have to do is do that thing that we say or somebody else or anybody else says, and it'll change everything for them and their families. And it's not rocket science. It's a lot of hard work,
right.
Dedication and focus, delayed gratification, all those things. I mean, success leaves clues. So we're not even talking about stuff that is like that we haven't experienced. We're not talking about stuff that, you know, somebody else hadn't taught us.
Right.
But it's just that execution. And it's almost like, I think you said, you were like, well, why don't people do that? Like, here is the blueprint. Just execute the freaking.
It's so hard for people.
Adrian gave anybody that has a franchise, looking to get a franchise, in an hour and a half last week.
Yep.
Adrian gave you a blueprint.
Practical blueprint. Practical information.
To at least start marching down the road of doubling or tripling the number of locations that you have. But people won't execute. I don't get what's the psychology of that?
You know what? We'll that'll be the whole episode if we I'm telling you it would be, but I believe that if we're going to help close the wealth gap, that what we're doing is important. And I think we just got to continue to do it the way we do it, no matter what, you know, people are conditioned to, you know, receive, or the way they conditioned to respond to it, or even, you know, take it in, you know what I'm saying?
So let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
That word has been thrown around a lot in the last 3 years. What's that? Wealth gap. What does it mean?
Well, it means majority of the wealth is in one place.
Yeah, and so
we don't have it.
And so, like, that's true. Why and how do we fix that?
Right. And so what I'm saying is that's what we up there, that's what our whole thing is about.
So I think
why is there a wealth gap?
I was going to say, I think a part of it is understanding. No, black people definitely aren't lazy. I think our government instituted some ridiculous policies. You can go back to the Fair Housing Act. Let's look at it right now today, though.
No. You giving me some bull answers. Tell me why there's a wealth gap, bro.
Because of Head Start. Because they had a head start,
a huge head start.
Because I want,
and it was.
I know the answer, right?
It's not like freaking, some Lilliputians came and tied us down.
That wasn't what happened.
To slow down our progress. It was the federal government that was supposed to be protecting us. Us being everybody.
I don't understand what you're saying, bro.
So the Federal Housing Administration, right? Back in the 50s. Well, let's go back to the 20s, the Great Depression, built the projects, right? Public housing.
What was public?
Not for people that look like us, right? And during the Great Depression, but people that were white.
Why? Yep. For what?
To make sure that they had housing, so they wouldn't tear stuff up, so they wouldn't,
And it came with their job.
And it came with their job, so that there wouldn't be crime and all of that to make their lives better.
So when public housing was first invented, it was not Negroes.
No,
were not allowed to live in public housing,
right? Until it started looking real crazy, and they were like, "Well, we gotta do something." So they built public housing for black people. Right? But it was janky. It was janky public housing from the start. So it deteriorated much faster. It looked like slums, right? And it wasn't, when you hear public housing, you think, oh, black people just go in and tear up everything. It was built poorly. And then white people started moving out of their public housing. And then they said, oh, we got all this empty space. Okay, black people, you can move into the nice public housing. And then all of a sudden, you got black people suburbs, in public housing. Yeah. Okay. So in the 50s, the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, came up with a program for the vets coming back, and they built these gigantic suburbs, 15,000, 17,000 homes, houses, 6 to 10 grand, right? So very, very affordable, and they lent them the money, except they wrote in the contracts, they wrote in the contracts, and it says specifically, Max Maxwell, because he is black, cannot get one of these loans or buy one of these houses. And by the way,
this was the contract or the federal government?
This is in the FHA
federal government
said Max Maxwell, he can't own one of these houses. He can't get one of these loans.
And this was in 18 what?
No, this is in 1950. This is in the 50s, bro. No, it wasn't in 1800s.
Max,
right?
He's dope though. He's
like you picking cotton, go from picking cotton to FHA loan. But then you couldn't even buy one after somebody moved out.
So I had bought a house last year, and the deed, one of the deeds that was written in 1933 said that no African American, no black man, no Negro should be able to live in this house, occupy this house, buy, rent, or lease. And the only way they could be on this property is if they were indigent services to the property owner.
Mm.
Like that was in the, and so that deed was still, because when you do a title search, you got to go back 30 years and they pull, so the 30 years of title searches, right? So
Right.
there's a,
So that deed still has.
so there was, so there was a deed from 1933 and then a deed from 62,
Mm.
and then I was the next owner,
Gotcha.
right? So it went from 1933, somebody had bought it, 1962,
Yeah.
and then I bought it in 2002,
Yeah.
2001.
That language is still in a bunch of
So
deeds.
in the deed, so
Oh,
my,
it's in a
my,
bunch of, a
my-
lot of stuff.
so
A bunch of
my
laws.
actual my actual paralegal came to the office and says, "You got to read this deed." I read the deed, and I'll put a link to it. I read the deed, and it literally in plain language. I'll leave a link to it so you guys see it. It said it word by word. I highlighted it. I was like, "Whoa!" And it just brought back. It was like, okay, that's not that long ago, and that language is still in deeds today. It's not enforceable because when did that change? What year did that change?
No. So the language is nobody had to remove it.
No, yeah,
So
but
the law,
what year did that make the deed not enforceable?
Oh, I'm not sure.
the Fair Housing Act or something?
1968.
68. Okay.
My mom was 8 years old.
Wow.
The Fair Housing
Fair
Act.
Housing Act.
So
yeah.
so why is that important? It's important because when they bought the $10,000 house that you couldn't buy simply because of the color of your skin, a decade, 2 decades later, that house is worth $200,000.
150 grand. Yeah.
$300,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, what can you do with that equity?
You can send your kids to
Love
school.
Max. Dude, though.
You
Man,
can
make a
start a
business,
business.
Start a business.
Yeah.
You can get a loan against your house
You
to
get a
go
loan.
start the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can, if something catastrophic happens in your family,
Yeah.
you can tap into that equity.
Absolutely.
Black people couldn't do that.
You could send kids to school.
Now here's my thing. If they had a school to go to, here's my thing. We obviously are not ones to sit up here and talk about the problem without giving a solution.
Right.
And the reason why we're talking about this in general is to be able to give you the reason why it's important to fix this.
Absolutely.
And not only going to say, oh, we need to fix it. This whole podcast is how you fix it.
Absolutely.
Not just this episode.
Yeah.
The entire Endgame is how you fix this.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yes, it's important to have a good job. Leverage that job into other things that can make you money.
Right.
If you work for money your entire life, you will never make it to where you want to be. Now, hear me out.
Or
Now,
you'll never make it work for you.
or you never make it work for you. Sorry, that's a better way to end that.
Yep.
If you work for money your entire life, you will never be able to have the money work for you. But there's some things we can teach you
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
to make that money work for you while you work for that money to be able to go get us a bar, right?
It's the only option.
It's the only option.
When that becomes normal, you know, we're talking about what we should
we're gonna
normalize and
it.
what we
We're
don't
gonna
normalize.
normalize it.
When we normalize that fact, that's when that wealth gap will start to shrink. Black people have 60% of the income that white households have. Black people have 10% of the wealth that white households have.
Because the lack of equity. And that's the whole reason this whole conversation. So this
Right.
whole entire Endgame podcast is to show you, and not through theory,
Right.
through actual real life experiences, how to use your job, whether you want to be a 9 to 5 your whole life. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
We're going to show you how to take that money and use the money to make it work for you. Because let me tell you something. If you do not make money while you sleep,
I have a friend. She's in a very specific industry. If you ever been in an airport and you ordered your food with a tablet, she installs those situations in airports. She used to work in fast food, but she's the best in the country. So much so, she left one company, went to another company, and this most recent company that she's with now, the CEO personally reached out to her and said to her, I want you to come work here, right? And she got like an athlete deal. It's almost 7 figures, X amount of years. And it's because she built equity and she built value over the years into doing what she's doing, right? So I submit to anybody that's, even if you're working a job and that's what you love to do, you don't want
she works a job.
She works a job.
She works a job.
If you don't want to take the risk of an entrepreneur.
Because it's not for everybody. Let's make that clear.
It's not for everybody, right? I suggest that you go do the same thing. You create so much value that you can't get fired.
Right.
One of the things we do, I had a strategy meeting with my team with the trucking company yesterday. And so it's 4 people in the room. And I said, listen, these 4 people, we're going to fail or we're going to make this thing go. And so I asked them, each one of them, I said, if you had to start tomorrow, who would you take with you? Every single name in our company wasn't mentioned. Right? So what does that tell you? If every single name wasn't mentioned,
then
got to get rid of
some people are expendable.
So if you are sitting at a job right now, ask yourself, and in interviews, I ask people, what if you left, what are they going to say? Right? Are they going to be upset? Are you easily replaceable? But you have to make yourself, right, so valuable that you can pretty much go in and start making demands. And when you're valuable, you can start doing that, right? A lot of people say, I want a raise, give me a raise.
Yeah.
Have, very little value in that organization.
Nothing to stand on.
Absolutely.
So I think, you're simply describing the end game. So you're in an interview, you're asking people if you left or when you left, and that's beginning with the end in mind. So, you're like, it's pretty dope how you're writing that into, your standard operating procedures. I think that's what this is all about.
And I think it's understanding understanding your personal value.
You got perceived value, right? Then you said something about, then you say like that was the meaning of money or something like that, or perceived value.
What?
Or something.
We
talked about a dollar, paper dollar.
Oh yeah.
It's perceived value.
Yeah, it's perceived value.
Yeah.
It's perceived value. Yeah. You know your value. We know your value if you're not there.
Right. So that's the reason why we're taking less and we're really worth more because of the perceived value.
So the TikTok guy, the number 1 TikTok
guy,
they paid him what? Yeah, get that shot. Hold on, get that shot. Get that shot. Yeah, that dude right there.
That guy?
That dude. Yeah. He just got a deal for what, like $750,000?
I think he did according to what we read, he got a Hugo Boss deal for $750.
What did that deal consist of though?
I have no idea, but they could not even use my face for $750.
Yeah.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because the perceived value, man. My man,
I can go, but the problem with most people is that they don't understand their value. I mean, you look at the, what is that name, image, and likeness stuff that's floating around now? People don't know their value. I think it's great for some people. I think it's good for the middle athlete that's never going to make it pro, that's going to grab a couple $100,000 while they playing ball. I love it.
Yeah, they definitely need a bag right now.
Don't forget, you making pennies while they making a bag. They gave you that, so you stop asking why they making so much money off of you.
Can you say that again?
They gave you that money. They gave you those pennies, so you stop asking why they make so much money off you. If you look, there was an article that came out years ago. I was looking at what each player at Texas University of Texas, what each football player was worth to their program. It was insane.
Wow.
It was insane. Like they broke down what it.
So they broke down, I guess, what the University of Texas makes off the football program, and then kind of divvied it up between the players.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. And so you got to look. Some of these stadiums are like NFL stadiums.
Oh,
some of these workout facilities are better than workout NFL.
Well, some of them, most of them seat more than NFL arenas.
She's right.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this, to that point. Yeah. So there's an entity. I don't know if it's a company, but it's an entity that values athletes as it relates to NIL deals. It's On3 algorithm.
Okay.
Right?
On3 algorithm.
On3 algorithm. Yeah. And they will give you your value for your NIL deal. And based on what you just said, you talked about a whole team where the values were ridiculous, right? They're projecting that there are only 12 college football players today that have an NIL value of $1 million and up. Only 12. But there
Can't be true. Can't be true.
Some broke dude in a cubicle wrote that and don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why. So obviously, I have a brand that I built over the last 7 years. My wife has had a brand she's built over the last 5 years. My wife has 3 million, 4 million followers. You know, I see these deals. I negotiate deals. I'm an agent in the Western sports. I negotiated the Arby's deal for clients. I've negotiated. Listen, I've negotiated with Monster Energy, some of the biggest clothing brands for a lot. So I see these deals. I get these deals personally. I'm an influencer personally.
Yeah.
Right.
The problem, but here's the advantage that I have over most influencers, and all them people are just influencers.
That's it.
They're not
That's all.
they're athletes, but they're influencers.
But the influencers,
right?
Yeah.
So the influencers first, then athletes.
100%. It
Gotcha.
don't matter if nobody's looking at you, because think about the athlete that nobody's looking at.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just an athlete.
Right.
Right. And so I used to be on the other side. I used to work for the marketing companies.
Right.
So I know the budgets and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I brought that game over when I started doing
To the other side.
To the other side. When I
right.
started to gain an audience, I started to bring that over. And then I helped my wife with her brand as far as helping negotiate her deals and stuff like that. Let me break some stats down for you that makes sense, right? So if you're saying that Bronny, or this little kid, what do you say, Bronny?
Yeah,
Bronny.
Bronny James.
Bronny James, they said he's worth
With
6
Nike.
million?
Yeah, 6. I think 6. His NIL value is 6.4 million.
Okay.
I don't know what they gave him, but that's what On 3 is saying.
I don't know. I don't watch TV, so I don't know what this is, and I don't know if you guys either. What do you think it costs to run a 30-second ad on the #1 TV show right now? And I'm not talking about Super Bowl or football. I'm just saying, just like
maybe 2 million. I don't know.
I was gonna say 300,000.
Correct. So here, check this out. So NBC, there's a show called This Is Us.
Yeah, This Is Us. Yeah.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah.
It costs $318,000 to run a commercial on their ad. All right,
30 second.
30 seconds.
1 30 second.
30 seconds. So
All right.
60 second gonna cost you $650,000.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Keep that in mind.
Do they say how many viewers they got? I know it's the number one show. Okay. Go ahead.
So
My bad.
among adults between 18 and 49, they're 1.3 rating. I'm not sure what that is, and they have 6.4 million total viewers.
Gotcha.
According to Live Nielsen data. So when the show airs, 6.5 million people are watching.
We're watching. Yeah.
Okay, right? So the show airs for 30 minutes or hour show, and it goes away, right? My wife, when she posts something, right, in her stories or whatever for the week, it'll be anywhere between 19 and 26 million people have watched that story, or that post, or her reach for the week, right? So I just told you her reach is
bigger than This Is Us.
Bigger than This Is Us at the moment, right?
Yeah. 4 times the amount.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. So when they say it costs $300,000 to run a 30-second ad,
right,
and you come hit somebody up and say, do $2,000 a post,
10 grand.
You tripping. But the reason there's this thing, you talked about this knowledge gap before. There's a thing that all businesses make money on. It's called the info gap.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep.
You don't know, you don't want to know, you don't care to know, and they're going to make money from it.
Right.
So therefore, when they hit people up and they say, yo, do this deal, I don't know which deals of mine that I can name.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that my wife will make between 40 and 80,000 a month. Okay.
From what, like Meta or company? Or
companies.
Okay.
She works with Meta. She works with all these other companies.
Yeah.
So, and I want you to go back and do the math and see how many sponsored posts you do in a month. You figure out what the average post is.
Right.
Right. And so you got to understand, if you know the other side of the game, you know that a 6 point something NIL deal is nothing.
It's not. Yeah.
That's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially with the reach.
Yeah.
Right. With the audience.
I'm 37. If I go play college ball right now, I'm worth more than 6.7 million.
Absolutely.
You know?
Just sitting on the bench.
I can't even do a 40 dash.
Nothing.
Max got a 2-play deal. Yeah,
I got I'm doing 2 plays a game.
Influencer first.
Because I'm an influencer first. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
They want your attention.
Right.
That's all anything is.
Yeah. Right. So in this influencer society, how
everybody's an influencer.
How can we help people with their values? How can we help them understand what their value is? And then not only understand what their value is, understand how they can monetize that.
Because the same companies that are buying advertisers, so podcasters, right? There was a link that I sent our producer EA the other day, right? I said, You know how much people are spending on?
Oh, you sent it to the whole group.
Did I?
Our joint. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to show you
ridiculous amount of millions of dollars that they spend on advertisement for podcasts. And
right.
Yeah. I looked at it too.
So I'm gonna show you. So the number one podcaster. This is for the month of March 2022.
Mm-hmm.
BetterHelp spent $7.7 million on podcasting ads.
Wow.
Green Athletics 2.7, HelloFresh 2.6, ZipRecruiter 2.6, Progressive 2.4. This is just podcasts.
In just a month.
In just a month.
All right. Just podcasts. Just
so if you don't go do some research, and I tell you that the same company, when BetterHelp runs on This Is Us for $317,000, and they come to you with 19 million reach and tell you to post something for $5,000, if you don't understand your value,
tell them to get the hell out
you're going to give it away.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that you're highlighting is information, that info gap right there, that info gap. Yeah. I think that's the first thing. That was just a Google search. That's all Google. Yeah, that's just, it's nothing. Like,
that took how long? That took 30 seconds.
But I don't know why people, to your point, are still perpetuating the cycle of, an old mentality.
You know why? You know why?
Well,
the main reason is because we don't have these conversations openly. Right. It's the same reason why your employer don't want you to speak about what your salary is.
Yeah. For one, I don't think a lot of people that are, perpetuating the cycle have these actual people like us in the room bucking the system. I think Nipsey said something in one of the songs. He said, "This ain't entertainment. It's for my people on the slave." And he talked about how he, dove off the deep end and just said how they hoping that what he did wasn't contagious because they don't want other people escaping to freedom.
You heard what he just said?
Like, yeah. He was just saying, that they hope that what he did wasn't contagious.
So if you think about this, here's why they do the same deals. If we look at the highest paid basketball player ever, richest maybe the richest athlete ever, right? Currently is Michael Jordan.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's shoe deal is 5% of his sales.
That's terrible.
Right. So if you keep,
say it one more time, big dog.
His sale is 5% of what Jordan brand sells. So if Jordan
5%,
it's $150 million a year. Sounds great. I don't know if I would turn down that. But my point is,
can one of y'all, while he's saying his point real quick, can one of y'all tell me what 5% of $250 is? Because if the average sneaker is going for $250, J's, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these joints be paying $400 or $500.
No, that's a resale. You paying resale?
Yeah, $1,250.
So
retail is $1,250.
So that you telling me that he making $12.50?
Bro, most of these shoes be like $140, $200.
So $140. What's 5% of that? $6?
10% is 14. 5% is
$7. Yeah. $7.25.
Now, if that's the example of the highest paid athlete, right?
There it is. That's the answer.
Then that's why that's why the ladder goes down.
That's the answer. The example of the example of the best name, image, and likeness deal.
I got them on right now. You got them on. You got them on.
We all got them on. So you telling me that this
Adidas, and Nike.
So all he made was $36 from us at the most.
But
on the resale, oh my bad, 7 to 21.
But
21. Go ahead, talk to me.
You got to look, you look at it like this. And it depends how you see things, right?
Yeah, well, I see this. I see the big homies getting screwed, right? And then I go do the same deal as the big homie?
No, you hope to get a deal like big homie.
So
you hope you get a deal like...
So I'm hoping to get a deal like Jordan, but he's getting screwed. Man, this the same game. So my man in the house, I'm in the field, I'm thinking he lived better. Right, I'm just talking right now, man. I'm just keeping it real with you.
Yeah.
5%? 150. Let me tell you something. Can I say something real quick, big dog? Yo, I read that Jordan brand makes $3 million every 5 hours. Mm-hmm. And Jordan makes $410,000 a day.
Now, hold on. When you say it like that, sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Right.
But it is a lot of money.
Right.
But if I told you, Lynch, and I know there's marketing, I know there's shoe costs, but we know the shoe don't cost nothing. I know there's shipping, I know there's distributorship. I know all of that.
I read the shoe cost $12 to make.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, if that.
My bad.
But the point that I'm saying is, if I tell you, Lynch, today I'm gonna make 300 million off of you, or 3 million. I'm gonna make 3 million off of you, not just for these first 5 hours a day. And I'm gonna give you.
We don't even got to guess. For the year, they made $5 billion. He made 150 million off the $5 billion.
Is that good or bad?
It doesn't sound fair.
Regardless of what we.
So it's interesting because there's something called like in my field, there's something called revenue cycle management.
Okay.
So basically you manage the revenue of these behavioral healthcare organizations. Right.
Okay.
And so for years, they're basically, when we sold our electronic health record system, we sold it for the price that we wanted to get. Other people sold it based on a percentage of revenue. So I'm selling against the percentage of revenue because we had a fixed price, right? So it ties into this conversation. I would sell against it by going, that's like you going and sitting down and getting a haircut and your barber says, hey, Max, how much you make this week? And you're like, why? You say, so I know how much to charge you.
Sound like Uncle Sam.
That's tough.
Versus the haircut being $25, right? So similar conversation, right? So Jordan apparently said 150 million is good. And not really caring about the percentage of the bigger number. Although that bigger number
But he's
is
locked
moving.
into, doesn't he have like a lifetime deal or something like that? Or no?
Sure, he has to be at this point. I mean, when would they
But I
ever
guess
stop?
the point is, whenever the number is presented, it's you got two.
But
thought
wealthy people don't speak in numbers. It don't matter. The percentages matter. When y'all say the S&P went down 5% today, I don't care how much money I have in. I lost 5%, right? I don't care what money it is. 5% is 5%.
But we're talking
when
about
Adrian Smith said,
when he said
the catch-up packs in the lobby may cost me an extra 1%, that's millions of dollars. I didn't say I lost millions. I lost 1%. I already know the number's big. But is 1% big? Yes, 1% is big.
Yes.
Right.
He also said one of his superpowers was where he could see the 3% difference from this person and that person. And he said 3% over 50 stores. He was like, that's a lot of pennies. Didn't he say that? He was like, but anyway, that's a lot of sneakers.
So but take it to, a contract, right? NFL contract. When was it Deshaun Watson got 230 million guaranteed? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So do you go as an NFL player, why aren't they going, I want 0.5% of the gate?
They do on jerseys and merch.
Huh?
They do
on
merch.
jerseys. The players get paid on
That's
that?
how
I thought it was to the own. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, but the calculations, those numbers are sometimes how they calculate what their guarantee is going to be. Like their agent will do so.
Gotcha. So, but it's the players get comfortable with they go in knowing what their number is.
So what he's saying is that's not normal. That's not.
But but they're also. I think
Master P did a deal like that for Ricky Williams and it backfired.
I think the real issue, the only issue is that the ownership piece. And I guess if you say that he owns 5% of the Air Jordan brand, which is all Air Jordan, sounds kind of funny. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm just playing the other
side. It's not like he owns 5% of Nike.
I agree.
He's getting 5% of the Air Jordan brand.
Bro, I agree. 100%.
Because when they first signed Jordan, they signed him to a 3-year, $500,000 deal a year.
Yeah.
They were hoping to make $3 million a year. They made $126 million.
So if you look at that,
I'm hoping he had bonuses written in there.
500,000 was what percent of 3 million?
15%.
Like 15% or something like that.
Right.
Then they wind up making more, but he gets less than that. I think his handlers, somebody should at least went back to the table and said, "Let me get my 15%."
And we don't know,
back.
but the main point from this whole thing is equity. I've done deals myself as a small influencer as I am. I've done equity deals in companies.
Yeah.
I have I have taken equity over cash now.
Yeah.
To know that my power as the influencer or the person
Yeah.
can drive revenue up.
Yep.
And now I own X percentage of a company that generates X that is now worth X.
Yeah.
Right. But we're seeing that now. You got to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. So some people are getting exposed to it. They're, now structuring their deals or doing the same type of deals. LeBron's doing it. You got one of those things, those tonal machines or whatever, right? Yeah. He owns equity in that company. You got the 50 cents with the vitamin waters. You got the Dre's with the beats and all that different type of stuff.
That 50 cent deal is what made me start doing deals like that.
Bam. Like, all those different, we're seeing them, but why is it still, majority, you got Nas is making mad deals like that, right? The ring thing, the doorbell. The doorbell. Yeah. He made a big deal with that stuff right there. But still people, the mentality is just to go, get the low hanging fruit stuff, and they're not even thinking of on that type of level.
It goes to two things: the info gap, and being able to delay gratification.
Okay. But so, all right, now I just got to play devil's advocate. So if LeBron's doing those type of deals, right, then I don't know how Bronny's deal is structured, right?
Because he just did a Nike deal?
He just did a Nike deal. But if the deal is, if LeBron at 17 walked away from, how much was it? $10 million, right?
From Reebok.
And then wind up getting 90 million or something like that, right? I probably would, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, my son's deal would definitely 25 years later would definitely be better than mine. It's got to be equity.
And
it's got to be equity play. It's got to be an equity play.
I'm going to hope that whatever deal he did was structured based upon his son's performance and whatever those benchmarks may be for him to eventually be the equity.
Because y'all got to remember,
Nike.
LeBron at 17 was selling out arenas. They had to move Ohio State Championship games to Ohio State.
His son ain't doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they these McDonald's things and stuff like that. People are going to see, the Brownies versus the such and such.
Of course.
They're
LeBron
doing
was
it,
a different beast. But yeah, I get it. I still get what you're saying.
But I don't, so
his son ain't
I
shabby,
do understand. Yeah. So I do understand why they got to go grab some of that bread now, because we're actually playing sports. And, I'm going to just keep speaking positive over the young King's life and stuff like that. But we never know how long these sports careers are going to last. So, you do got to go get some of that bag, now. So we can't.
And then maybe LeBron is looking at his net worth and his son and saying, all right, now's your opportunity to go get this bag. And if I ran the play and been able to get $1 billion in my lifetime career, you should be able to go get two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I got on the blueprint.
Adrian said, if I started with 3 and I end my career with 3, he said I did nothing with the baton. He literally said that on the joint. So the fact that, he's got this start with his dad doing this, and then he's, he literally can see, how to move it forward if he puts the right pieces and stuff in place. I think he's in a great position. I think it's dope, but I just really can't wait till some of these terms of this deal comes out, because, I'm gonna have a beef with a lot of people.
It never will.
Oh yeah, it will. Hell yeah.
Because even LeBron James's deals have been hushed.
They're gonna come out, because look, we sitting here talking about mics. We sitting here talking about mics 5% all the way down to
that was a different time.
Yeah, but it's 20 years later.
Who you gonna have beef with?
20.
You say you're gonna have a beef with?
I'm gonna have a beef with the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. I'm gonna have a beef with the father. I'm gonna have a beef with the agency. I'm gonna have a beef with all the people that could possibly have that have the influence. Like, I got a beef with that. Like, all the big homies, I'm gonna have the beef with, because you gotta be like, if you called that, then be that. You got to be that and even foresee the future, so we don't perpetuate no cycles. We can't just do a little bit better. We got to understand the leverage and understand the perceived value, and we got to start to make them big homie OG calls like, no. Like,
you're talking about taking a lot of risks, though.
Absolutely. But I'm born. Like, I do. This is what we do. We entrepreneurs since 9. You know what I'm saying? We ain't like everybody. We all got the same joint. You was doing the same thing. You was taking the mistletoe and selling it.
Right.
You think I forgot when you said it on the podcast?
No, you
I'll be listening.
Max said one time, which I kind of pushed back a little bit, but you said everyone should have a side hustle, because that side hustle could be the difference between them.
So
I don't know, saving money or
100%.
going to that next level.
Here's my side hustle. Like if the side hustle could be simply that you learned how to get a self-directed or some type of IRA where you can direct yourself and you know how to take your W-2 income and let it make you more money on the side. That's a side hustle.
Yeah, but simple. We was just talking about a side hustle. NIL is side hustle for them right now. They main joint going to be their NBA contract, their NFL contract. NIL is their side hustle. We don't got to go
you
far.
You got to get good at something in order to speed up the bag process.
Whoa, wait a minute. You got to get good at something.
That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a whole word.
You got to get good at something.
Learn how to do something good. Then look. Then
but you can't
keep doing it.
Can you learn? Can you be good or great overnight?
No, it takes time. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how good you have to be to just make money, a little bit more extra money.
Right.
Like you'd be surprised how little good you got to be. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people ain't no good.
You don't have to be a unicorn.
Yeah, you don't have to be. It doesn't. Yo, I'm not anything special, my G.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I just have this hustle ambition that I just don't stop.
Yeah, but you got some stuff most people don't have.
Yeah, but I think that becomes. I think my best trait is my obsession. I have an obsessive personality.
Yeah. So I think you did say something about it earlier. You talked about like execution and
that's the thing.
Practice application. I think.
Man, is it our responsibility? Because I know what mine. I know what you guys' passion is about helping people go to the next level and leveling up and changing their financial lives. Is it? And a lot of people do that. Not just us. A lot of people do that, right? I know what our intentions are, so that's why I can speak on it as passionate as I am. Is it our responsibility though? Where does our responsibility stop? Because I just want to grab everybody and just snatch them, and I want to shake them. I want to etch and sketch them, and erase the help unlearn the stuff that they've learned, and say, yo, just do this and follow this lead, and your life is going to change. But when they don't execute, when people don't execute, when they don't take the advice that we give them, like, because that's a huge frustration for me. Mm-hmm. And I guess I need to figure that out. But at what point, how far do we go in terms of, helping people get to that point?
You do what you can without ruining yourself. And sometimes you got to understand that even though you have the message, you might not be the messenger for that person. That's true. Mm-hmm. And so you can't, and I understand the frustration of not seeing people execute, but you just understand that, not everybody's going to understand. Yeah. Have you ever met somebody you just can't train?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get a bunch of people that just don't understand, what I'm trying to get. So I'm gonna tell you where I stop at. I'm gonna tell you where I stop at. So one of my superpowers is to meet people where they are. I have to continuously try to meet everybody, and I go to different places, different audiences, and it's tough when you walk in one room and it's 50-year-old white people, and then you walk into another school and it's 13-year-old underserved, underprivileged kids and stuff like that. So when I get someone and I they're not getting it, then I take another approach to meet them where they are, try to get there. And I take a few different times to try to, keep dumbing down and backing down, or meeting them where they are and changing up the way I deliver it and things like that. And then after a while, I say, oh yeah, this person, they just ain't getting it. And I ain't wasting no more energy on it. I'm out of here.
You have to.
Well, then I hit them with the, you know what? You'll figure it out.
I swear.
I'm telling you.
One way or another.
You about to start hearing that now. When I say it a lot, you're going to be like, he just backed off. He just gave up on him. L's out of here. That was cool.
He's gone. Yeah. He's out of here.
Yo, this is kind of off topic, just switching gears a little bit. And I don't know where this came from, but where you are now, like, what's your 10-year outlook on what you're doing now? Like, what you want to be doing?
10-year outlook? Well, I have the short-term, mid-term, and long-range goals. And so my goals kind of dictate where that 10 years is going to be. So if I hit the 10-year goals in 6, and I'm pushing those goals out further. But it's still going to be, for me, I'm older than you guys. So for me, it's about legacy. So it's about helping as many people as I possibly can right now. That's the main thing. But still, I'm looking at, creating more and more wealth to help with that legacy. Because again, I have specific goals. A long-term goal. I was talking to my man Jerome at the gym, and so he asked a similar question, and I was like, man, I don't want for there to be the possibility of having my funeral in a church. I want you to have to rent out something big to have my funeral.
That's huge.
Coliseum or something?
Yeah. Say that
Right,
again,
right.
man.
So that means that I impacted
Absolutely
a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well,
so,
at least about 40, 50,000 to fill up that arena.
Right. Exactly. So you're talking about ultimate long-term goal. That's the ultimate long-term.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I might
if you can have my funeral in a funeral home.
My long-term goal is to have a big funeral.
Yes. Yes.
Sound crazy, right? But that's
arena.
That's dope.
Because if that's true, if that happens,
if that happens,
bruh,
you did what you were supposed to do,
bruh. Like Adrian was talking about his great grandkids. They never met him, but they just saw a picture of him. It was like,
you trying to exit any more companies between?
Exit all companies. That's the only way to go.
Yeah, all doors got exit signs.
Yes, absolutely. That's
the
only way to
Lynch,
go now.
10 years.
Man, 10 years, man, we about to be running this play, man, where we help everybody get out and, a couple joints, man. So I got a couple joints, right? Couple years right now to do, multiple joints, get that valuation and go ahead and get out of this so we can go ahead and do, show people actually how to do it. So, I got to get on the other side too. I need a Super Bowl ring or two. After I get mine, then, they're going to be calling me they already called me the great one, but I had something to go with it now. A couple rings.
You know what it is? It's the option offense now. You take the ball, you take the snap.
Yeah.
And you leave that fullback in. You can pull it out.
Yeah.
You can let him have it.
Yeah.
You can pull it out and run.
Yeah.
Or you can pull it out and pass.
Yeah.
That's
Mad
it
options.
from here on out.
Mad.
That's it from here on out. Before it was, man, let me get this great job, or let me go. Then it was, let me go build this company, and then let me keep this company forever, so I can pass down to my kids, get my kids to work in it. And my kids didn't show a whole lot of interest in it, and it's like, oh, Dad, I can sell this, and wait, I can sell it again, and I can go do this again, and again, and I don't have to wait, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I can do it in 3. That's it.
Yeah, that's
How
crazy,
about you?
Man.
10 years, where you at?
I'll be 47. Definitely a couple rings. I got a couple rings right now on the rise. Like I got a couple more seasons and we in the Super Bowl. Short-term stuff in the 10 years, man. I hope to have kids that's probably about to hit 8, 9, 10. I ain't got no kids yet, bro. So that's the next step in my life.
Max Jr., bring the horses in.
Facts. Go get the horses, bro. They don't escape. I hope to make an impact on a couple of industries. I want to change the way aviation is. I want to help influencers realize their worth. And I just want to keep growing. I want to have I look up to people like Kevin Hart and Tyler Perry that have built empires with their skills. They've taken and I guess I look at like they're great at what they did, but then they became owners of the team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I want to own a team. Whatever that looks like.
Right.
Not a sports team, but you know what I'm saying?
I feel you. Yeah, I get it.
Like real good. Like, I talk about the big media company and stuff like that. But, impact is one of the big things too. And then, I got small goals, man. I want to travel with my kids. Like a whole 2 years, just be out.
It's a big goal.
Like just 2 years, be gone.
Right.
The real big goals.
man. That's interesting you say that. We went to Ibiza, Spain, and I met so many people in Ibiza, right? And first of all, I felt like almost, when it came to my education, inferior because I met people that spoke 4, 5, 6 languages. Normal. First of all, right? Normal, like that's their normal. And then I met a bunch of people who lived in 2 or 3 places during the year. And my simple mind was going, well, what about your kids in school? Like, they're my kids. We can teach them however we want to teach them. But your school system doesn't say you can't take them out of school. And again, they're my kids, so I teach them the way. So that's just like, okay, that part of the Red Sea as it relates to controlling my destiny as it relates to how I reared my kids or where I lived, and not saying, oh, I live in North Carolina, I got to be in North Carolina all the time. So yeah, I'm looking at, other places to live. Also, that's a part of that goal as well. But yeah,
just be around. I think we might go to Dubai for a little bit.
Yeah, Dubai's cool. Dubai's cool. So Dubai is like, for me, Dubai is like Hollywood, right? So you got Dubai and you got Abu Dhabi. So Dubai is Hollywood. Abu Dhabi is, what's the Rodeo Drive and all that? What's that city? Thank you, Beverly Hills, right? And so, but Dubai it's a fun place.
Yeah, I think just to get, because I love the entrepreneurship stuff there. That place allows me to be a kid again as far as imagination.
They build everything on sand. They build stuff in the ocean.
They let you believe the impossible is possible.
Yeah.
But just with the imagination, the things that you see, and you're like, oh my goodness. It makes you not think your big ideas are stupid.
Right. So Max, you spent years like building your personal brand. Lynch, you too. I'm not so much me, because I've like been low crawling on purpose, but you guys have built your personal brands to a recognizable level. So the person that's sitting there, and we're talking about value and them building value, creating value within themselves, like what would you tell them? How would you, what advice would you give them?
First and foremost, I mean, you gotta believe that the thing that you're doing, is worth more than, what's out there right now. I'm constantly working like super hard at, getting this gym out there. I'm constantly working super hard at, all the talks that I'm doing, and constantly working at being, a great father, because I just believe that, don't nobody do fitness like me. I don't believe that nobody does the talks like me. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't believe that nobody does the stuff with the kid like I do. You know what I mean? I just literally believe like I got the best stuff out there and everything. And I think if you don't believe in what you do, like it's the best, then you always gonna fall short of whatever it is you got going on, man. Yes. So, I just think, you just gotta try to make things better, all the time. And that's what I'm really trying to do with everything that I got going on, as far as impacting. When you talk about impacting, is like I'm trying to change the game with everything that I do. Like I'm trying to change the way that people approach fitness for years to come. I'm trying to change the way that people approach, motivating, these people out here, because a lot of people are just wham bam, thank you, man. They give a talk and then they hope that somebody calls them back. Right. But if you see, like I'm going into 10 talk contracts with people now. You know what I mean? I got like 5, 10 talk contracts. Wow. People don't do that. And it's because like I got a curriculum type of style, you know what I'm saying? Right. Where you gotta call me back after I leave, because they're gonna hit you with, yo, what do we do next? And I ain't never heard no like that before in my life. Gotcha. So, once the world sees this stuff, then we got to figure out how to create more Lynches or get people to teach my curriculum, one of the two.
Gotcha. So I heard disruption, disrupting those industries, and I heard consistency.
Absolutely.
2 keys. Gotcha. And the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Believing in yourself mindset. Yeah. What about you, Max?
Well, before I get to that, what was dope on last week's podcast was that what Adrian was going through, the time he was going through, to have to be with you in your garage when you first started doing training back in the day, was the training was important, equally as the therapy session that was provided to him during a difficult, pivotal point in his life. Right. And so to think that you helped him to get through a point in his life that allowed him to be the best person he could be at that time was dope. It just goes to show you that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that you do matter. It shaped him. It allowed him to be, because when you met him, he had 12 stores.
Yeah.
Right. And you see what I'm saying? So you got to think, it was days you said something to him that made him believe that he was a beast that day and went to go do things the unthinkable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's
so dope. I think that was,
and dope. To your point is like, I believed in those messages that I was giving them, and I never stopped giving them to the next person that came through the door, and the next person that came through the door, and then the small groups that I had when it was just 4 people, and then when it was 16 people, and then it was 20 people, and now it's 60 and 70 people, and then now it's a few 60, 70,000 on IG and stuff. So you're right, you're absolutely right. But
I just thought that was dope. I forgot about that because me and my wife, we sit down and we watch the podcast from front to back. Because it's dope. It's just a dope conversation. Even though I was there, it's still a dope conversation. I think for me, when you're building a personal brand, it is exactly what that is. It's personal. It is you. Don't ever try to be somebody else. Be yourself.
100%.
And don't be frightened. Because people it's hard to pretend for such a long time. But have a message that you're so proud to share that you don't care if anybody's listening. You know what I mean? And so when I don't care if you don't click or like or watch my video, at this point, it doesn't matter. And I think when you start with that, then you give your perspective and your dope perspective on things or whatever your message is, I think people are just going to gravitate to you, the ones that are supposed to gravitate to you.
I think that's a dope message.
You got to look at like my audience I've impacted, and I like my YouTube, I got 300 and something thousand. My Instagram is 370,000. My TikTok is 700 and something thousand. I don't have huge audiences. It's not huge, it's not millions, but the impact that I've made on those people for being me.
Yeah.
Right? Just being me and delivering this message that I was delivering. It's priceless. Priceless.
Yeah. So you are the content. You're not trying to create the content.
Yeah.
You are it.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Your authentic self, your
because
life.
Because when you do that, when you be yourself from beginning to the end, it allows you to always be yourself at all times. You don't have to worry about if your head nappy and you want to be on. If that's what you want to do, do that.
Yeah,
you don't care if you ain't done up, right? If you ain't all dressed up, then don't do that. If you don't, you know what I'm saying? If you don't care that you got mismatched socks on, the dishes in your sink, that's you.
Oh yeah,
people. And so I think people like that.
My wife be like, "When you gonna get a haircut?" I'm like, "Man, leave me alone. Is my hair bothering you?"
I'm successful, in statistically successful. I'm a normal ass dude, bro.
Yeah.
I do normal ass things.
I wonder if people really believe that.
I was in the barn the other day. I was in the barn yesterday. The horses are not there because we're putting new stalls in. I was down there helping them drill hammer the things.
I see you do that many times. Every time I come
with J's and a Rolex on.
The drill.
With
J's and a Rolex on.
Yeah, fixing lights, fixing. Yeah.
I do, man. So just be who you are. I think, and then
you got some Crocs.
I ain't got no Crocs, but I ain't gonna lie though. I thought about buying some Crocs.
I always said that because we had a conversation about the Crocs earlier today.
But if Crocs want to pay me, I'll put them on.
Crocs on.
We'll all have some Crocs in this bad boy. They put the right number on the screen. This show is sponsored by Crocs. Man. Yes.
Mine's gonna sit right here because I ain't
gonna wear the Crocs.
Why not? I can't.
What if
Jay's 5%, G?
5%?
Yeah, Jay's did a collab with Crocs.
Jay's did that.
Not every
Jay's I ain't getting.
That's the
they gonna be them Jay's. You know them Jay's. They got the 6 Jay's in one. Them joints I ain't getting. That's the Croc Jay's. I ain't getting the joints.
We're gonna catch you. They're gonna pay you. Crocs will pay you $100,000 episode.
Bro, I'm not with the Croc J's.
$100,000 episode.
Yo, Croc J. If I don't rock with the Croc J's, I don't give a fuck what.
Yo, you got just Crocs, not even the Croc J's. Just $100,000 episode.
I don't rock.
They gonna give you $100,000 an episode. You're not gonna put on Crocs.
Man, I'll be out here twinkling the shit out of my toes with some Crocs.
I mean, I ain't gonna mess up y'all deal. My Crocs gonna be right here, and
you gotta wear them.
That's where they gonna be.
You gotta wear them, dog. 100,000.
Because I wear Jordans, they don't pay me nothing.
I swear.
Yeah, but you like Crocs. You like what you like. I don't like.
What did they make some Crocs that you like?
They ain't got them yet.
I'm saying, but that's part of the deal.
Y'all gonna have to ask me again.
That's part of the deal.
Well, we're gonna have to make something that don't look like Crocs. They might be able to say Crocs, but they can't look like what I perceive to be Crocs now. Because the perceived value for me on Crocs is
so you got the super dope Crocs. They're comfortable, and you get 100K
bro.
bag
You go
every
with this
episode.
prosecution
And
stuff.
you're gonna be like,
trying to get a
nah.
yes out of me, man. Look, I ain't doing
I just want to make sure I
Lock me up,
understand. I
take
want to make
me
sure I
to jail,
understand.
bro. Can you listen?
Every 10
I'm not
episodes, a bag,
snitching.
$1 million.
No.
1.2, my man say he ain't wearing them Crocs. Y'all got to come better than that.
Crocs. I'm not selling nothing for them Crocs.
We just killed the sponsor.
What you talking about?
I
I done killed the sponsor from Crocs, so we gonna have to get another one. We got the J's got to come through.
Any other brands you feel that passionately about not rocking?
Things you don't like.
I don't like slippers.
Period.
Yeah, shower shoes.
Period.
None of that. Yeah.
I feel you.
Only time I gotta wear them is on vacation in public shower.
You'd rather be
like
barefoot.
Yeah, I'm not wearing none of that stuff.
So your tree grippers can
I'm
grip it.
traumatized, man.
I feel you.
Yeah. I did not come out my cell with shower shoes on. So when I came home from jail and I was watching dudes rock slides and shower shoes out in public, and then
they never ready.
Never ready.
Right.
You come from the military. There's a term called suited and booted. We got the same joint in jail.
You talk to me with some slides on, you got a problem.
It's over. You about to slide all around the room. Because even if I can't fight, the first thing I'm going to do is step on your toe. And if I got boots on and you got slides on, it's going to hurt like somebody stole you.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's over after that.
So you got to stay ready.
Yo, you ever bump your toe on something?
On the corner of the bedpost?
Yeah. Now imagine me and you fighting and I step on your toe because you got slides on. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
Oh, you got Crocs on.
You got Crocs. So this is the reason why I don't like, let me tell you why I don't like Crocs. And y'all going to be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So let me tell you something. Pop culture went from rocking slides outside to rocking Crocs. So Crocs ain't nothing but the new slides. If I don't rock with slides, I ain't rocking with Crocs. You understand what I'm saying?
Slides don't have a sports mode. You got that little thing on the back where you can flip.
You see what I'm saying?
heel.
You know all because you got some Crocs. I know why you know that stuff.
Hey, you got Crocs?
I do have a pair of Crocs.
See what I'm saying?
But no, you know why I got Crocs though?
Somebody bought them for you for Christmas.
No.
You know how many Christmas
You be
gifts
at the beach house chilling?
No, I don't wear them at the beach house. I
You
probably
wear them out the shower.
No, my daughter had Crocs, and so I was like, I'm gonna match your Crocs. It was just one of those things. You wait till Tootie tell you to get Crocs.
Man, listen,
Tootie
me and
gonna
Tootie about to go back and forth about this. I'm going to give her the jail story. I'm going to say, Tootie, look, check this out. So listen, let me tell you something. All right, look, check this out. And I know this might be crazy, right? But I watched some dude in the county jail, right, cheat in poker, right? Nobody knew he cheated, all right? But one dude caught him. Didn't say nothing to him the day that he caught him. Didn't say nothing to him a couple days later. But whenever he felt the time was right, the element of surprise allows you to do tremendous damage, right?
Yep.
Soon as the door busted open at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, the one that cheated wasn't ready. I watched that man get poked up about 32 times and pulled out in a stretcher. So from that point on, right, I would wake up way before they unlocked my door and my boots would be tied with knots on them. Yo, I've been home 10 years, right? And I don't own slides. I've been home 10 years and my sneakers are still next to the bed, still tied.
Ready
so
to
as
go.
soon as I get up, I slide my feet right in my shoes that are tied up, right? And they don't never come off after that for the rest of the day. I'm telling you.
You don't kick your shoes off when you come home?
Absolutely not. My shit hanging off the edge of the bed. I don't know how long it's going to be like this. But damn the Crocs and damn the slides. Lululemon gave me some slides a couple weeks ago. I turned around to the camera and said, I don't think they know I ain't wearing these joints. And then I came back right to them. Yo, I appreciate y'all for these slides. Y'all, these joints dope. I gave them to my wife. Shout out to Wendy, because she knew I wasn't wearing them.
Real quick, we talk a lot about the wet, like horse stables and 50 McDonald's and
slides,
franchises and all that. But like with the how, if somebody had $5 grand a day, what would you tell them to do with the $5 grand? You got $5 grand and like, I want to do something with this to help propel my legacy. I tell them
right now, you got to invest in yourself.
Okay.
The number one thing is you got to go take that money and either buy you some time back, right? Whether that's vacation time off your job, whether that's whatever it is, buy you some time to go dive deep into something that you want to be good at.
Yeah.
Find somebody who's good at it, read their book, buy their course, do whatever you got to do. Find a mentor, somebody in your neighborhood, invest that money into yourself, because when you invest
That's good advice.
that 5 G's into you,
100%.
whether it's buying your time back or buying a mentor, or you can't buy a mentor, but buying but you know what I'm saying, getting a book or whatever, you will become who you wanted to be. And that $5 grand will be the best investment. The best investment on earth is yourself. It is not land. So anybody telling you that is a damn lie.
See yourself.
Because I know a lot of successful people that own no real estate.
Right. That's right. I mean, you got to work harder on yourself than you do on anything else. And that literally can make you.
Yeah, that would be my same answer, man. You nailed that. Because, and most people don't invest in themselves, right? Because they're chasing the shiny thing, not realizing they are the shiny thing.
And it's crazy. People that do invest, most of the people that invest in themselves only get a piece of paper because somebody else told them it was valuable.
Yeah.
Right? They don't actually see value in the actual piece of paper themselves.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can give you some information right now that could literally change your life, and it would go into investing in yourself. So I got some information a long time ago, and it was simply like, if you listen to 300 hours of audio learning, it could be the equivalent of advanced level college degree.
Yeah.
And, that was when I came home.
Yeah.
Like, I got over 100 something titles on Audible now. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm teaching people with degrees and multiple degrees. So, I literally kept, continuously learning, like 300 hours. And that was just me investing into me. And like that whole education is free. Yeah. Like after your first couple months, they start giving you credits. So I got 7 credits now that I can buy 7 books with for free. Yeah. And the knowledge that I'm gonna get from those books, and then I got that applied thing. My application is crazy. Right. Once you start doing that, you literally like getting a free pass into just getting more money and earning more, and just being able to pass more information down to people.
Yeah, when I changed industries and I became a wealth manager back in the day, I went to my boss and I said at the time, and I said, do I need to be a really good wealth manager or money manager, or do I need to be a really good salesperson first? Right, because there's an element of sales, right? Because you gotta get those fees, and you gotta get that commission. And he was like, you gotta be a good salesperson. I went and bought The Psychology of Sales by Brian Tracy, and I rode around. I just listened to it, like all the time. I literally, because one of the things he teaches you is to turn off your radio, and I listened to it for hours and hours and hours. And I would literally just do what the thing said to do. And then one of the things he said to do before you go into a sales call is to sit in your car, in your vehicle, and say to yourself, I'm great, I'm phenomenal, I'm incredible, I'm the best. And you do that for about 3 or 4 minutes, you walk in there like you can run through a brick wall. Yeah. And so, and so that's one of the investments that I made in myself personally, and just listened to it over. And it became a course in sales. Yeah. And then, the rest is history in terms of my sales career. So definitely invest in yourself.
That's super dope, man. It just shows you how your rituals and routines literally like get you to where you're going. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to change like their habits or their rituals and routines, because we'd rather get in the car and then play our music, because that's what we've been conditioned to do. Right. But a lot of people don't realize how important it is to understand like how long you're going to be in a particular place. So when you get in your car, you're being held captive for that amount of time. And what you do during that time will determine what happens to the future you. So if you think about it, that your car can become a school. So, if you travel in your car a certain amount of time each day, that becomes the amount of time you spend in your car each year. And at the end of the year, if you accumulated those many hours in learning, then you could literally add on to how much you're earning.
That's investing in yourself. I mean, you say 300 hours? Yeah. 300 hours. You do 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 10 hours a week. You need 30 weeks. 30 weeks.
30 weeks. That's it. You can do that 2 times a year. So you can get 2 degrees in 1 year.
Wow.
And it's literally that simple. To and from work, your travel.
Simple.
That's it.
But now you guys can see on why on our personal development worksheet that we have for our 30-day challenge, why you have to get 30 minutes of audio learning on there. Like that's literally like one of the things on there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm teaching people like behavioral, cognitive behavioral change skills, but they don't know it. It's just a challenge amongst us and making them do these things.
And I think this episode, that's a good point. Let's just make this a good point. the best investment you can ever make
Is in yourself.
is in yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think too many of us go through life without actually wanting to invest in ourselves in whatever topic it is. So the best investment you can ever do is in yourself. Figure out what it is you actually like. Get those 300 hours of audio learning, whether it's YouTube, whether it's audiobooks. And most of that stuff is going to cost you free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen to a pod. If you want to get good at investing, trading options, listen to 2 hours a day, every single day for 5 days a week for 30 weeks, and you become good enough to be able to make some side money.
That sounds so simple. That sounds so simple. But people won't. Put in the comments if you took Max's advice just now, because that's a bar. I mean, we can end it.
That's what I did with wholesale and real estate. I just became obsessed, and I did it in 3 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, we can end it on that. I want to know if you're willing to do that. If you're willing to take Max's advice that he just gave you, and Lynch as well, and to go get that degree without spending, 20 grand, right? Do 2 or 3 degrees over the next 6 months without spending 20 grand and having student loans, even though your government says that they're going to forgive them. Anyway, you want to tell them what they need to do?
Listen, man, like always, we appreciate you always tuning into the Endgame podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, share this video or other videos or other podcasts with your friends. And if you're listening right now, like Podcast World, you got Google Play, you got all that, all the podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that stuff. Do a 5-star rating. It's real simple. Write us some comment, and we appreciate y'all because this is the Endgame podcast. Yeah. And I'm Max Maxwell.
I'm Rod Brown.
And I am him.
He is him
again.
And we out, man. Appreciate y'all.
Peace. Peace.